So, good evening to another person here. I welcome you all for the fourth day of Faculty Development Program on Indian Knowledge System. Professor Dr. Narendra Joshi, who is going to deliver a lecture on Kaudilya Arthashastra Insights in Polity, Economy, Defense, and Welfare State. So, I would like to, on behalf of all the participants, I would like to welcome our chief guest. Now, I would like to welcome Dr. Parimala ma'am, HOD, Computer Science, to deliver the welcome address. Will you please, ma'am?
Thank you, sir. Is it audible, sir?
Yes, ma'am, it is audible.
Thank you, sir. Happy evening to one and all present here. The best preparation for good work tomorrow is to do good work today. I feel immense pleasure in welcoming everyone on the day 4 of Faculty Development Program entitled Indian Knowledge System, organized by Internal Quality Assurance Cell of Nanda Arts and Science College. First of all, I would like to thank our management for giving permission to organize faculty development programs to enrich our knowledge. First and foremost, on behalf of Nanda Arts and Science College, I welcome the Honorable Chief Guest of today, Dr. Narendra Joshi, Project Director at Vivekananda Prabodhini, Mumbai, Director Academic at Bhisma School of Indic Studies, Pune, and Project Director at Aro University. I am very happy to welcome you, sir, and I am happy to introduce him his academic qualification as Director of Philosophy in Artificial Intelligence from Hindu University of America, Florida. He served as a project director and faculty in Sri Aurobindo Center for Advanced Research, Pondicherry, focusing on Indian culture, consciousness studies, and integral counseling. He also worked as an associate academic consultant, contributing his expertise to the university's academic program in Yashwantrao Chavan Maharashtra Open University, Mumbai region. He has over 3 decades of extensive experience in teaching and research, particularly in the fields of culture, Indian culture, consciousness studies, and artificial intelligence. His distinguished career blends cutting-edge research in artificial intelligence with a deep commitment to Indian cultural and philosophical studies. His leadership roles and extensive teaching experience make him a pivotal figure in both academic and spiritual communities. Once again, I welcome you, sir. Next, I extend my warm welcome to our beloved principal, Dr. S. Manogran, sir, and Administrative Officer, Dr. V. C. Srinivasan, for being the backbone of all such effective programs. Welcome you, sirs. I extend my warm welcome to our IQAC coordinators, Dr. K. Abdul and Dr. Ilangovan, sir, for their efforts to organize this program. Welcome you, sirs. It's my hearty welcome to all the heads and faculty members from Nanda Arts and Science College and also an enthusiastic participants from other institutions for gathered here to explore the knowledge on Indian knowledge system. So today's topic is Kaudilya Arthasastra Insights in Polity, Economy, Defense and Welfare State. In history, we know about Kaudilya Arthasastra. So from the experienced persons, we know gain the knowledge on the tactics followed in earlier kingdom. So this session will bring you a great knowledge on Indian knowledge system. So once again, I welcome everyone for day 4 faculty development program organized by Internal Quality Assurance Cell, Nanda Arts and Science College. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I would like to welcome our beloved principal to felicitate the event. Will you please, sir?
Yes. Good evening to all of you. Is it audible?
Yeah, it is audible, sir.
Okay. Today We are having a wonderful experience with Dr. Joshi. We are going to get an immersive faculty program regarding Indian knowledge system. Yesterday also we had a good insights about Kaudilya's Astra Shastra, which is going to be continued by Dr. Narendra Joshi today. It is the most important thing we are going to discuss about political, economical things in law, about the various things is going to delivered by Joshi today. I heard about today's faculty development program resource person, Dr. Narendra Joshi, very good academician, project director, director of academic at various universities and schools of India. Dr. Joshi has over 3 decades of extensive experience in teaching and research, particularly in the field of Indian culture, consciousness studies, and artificial intelligence. Yes, he got PhD in AI from the Hindu University of America, Florida. Very good experience, distinguished career in artificial intelligence with a deep commitment to Indian culture and philosophical studies. His leadership roles and extensive teaching experience make him a pivotal figure in both academic and spiritual communities. So we had a very good eminent personality as a resource person for today's FDP on Indian knowledge system. I would like to congratulate IPAC for organizing this wonderful event by bringing an eminent personality as a resource person for today's FDP. I would like to congratulate all the participants, heads of various departments, participants from other colleges, institutions take part today's FDP. Once again, I welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to hand over the session to Dr. Narendra Joshi. Please, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Abdul sir. Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yeah, it is audible, sir.
Okay. So first of all, let me thank the organizers, distinguished all faculty, respected principal sir of Nanda Arts and Science College, Nanda group of institutes. I was just seeing in the beginning the entire list of the institutes which are there. Also, let me thank Madam who initially welcomed and also Dr. Abdul sir. So, and once again, a warm welcome and also thanks to all the people who are present here. I will be talking as discussed about Kautilya, and my endeavor will be to try to connect it with the practical aspects which are required even today also. So I'm sharing my screen, and you can tell me till what length I can go, because there can be it's a very huge thing, Kautilya's work, but I will try to introduce today and tomorrow some very salient parts of it. So am I able to show my screen, sir? So I think there was some technical glitch or something. I don't know. It was meeting ended in between. Dr. Abdul sir, can you please confirm?
Yeah, sir. It is audible, sir. You can share your screen.
Okay. So I need to be given right to share the screen, sir.
Yeah,
You
you
are not
can share.
allowed to. Kindly,
Yeah,
can
you
you
can
give me?
share your screens.
No, there is a. Earlier I was sharing. Now when the meeting ended, it is saying you are not allowed to share your screen. Can you
Sir,
please?
sir,
Yes.
சொல்லுங்க.
one second, sir. I'll make you a co-host.
Pardon me.
Sir, wait for a few seconds, sir. The admin will make you co-host.
Yes, yes. So meanwhile, I will just start discussing. It's a very important point in entire India's thought on polity, economy, defense, and all these things. And
Sir,
what we
sorry to disturb you.
yeah,
Now
I'm
you can
sharing.
share your screen, sir.
Yes, yes, I'm sharing now. Can you see my screen now? I'm just pinning on that, my presentation part. Can you see it now? I think you are able to see that. Can you confirm it?
Yes, sir, it's possible.
Okay. So now I'm going ahead with this. As we said, Kautilya's thought is very profound thought, and in 1 or 2 days, very difficult to cover all aspects. So I have chosen things which were not covered yesterday, but will take us forward in our direction. So one of the very important part of his polity, economy, defense, and welfare state part is, which we are going to conclude by tomorrow's session also. But we'll start with very unique idea which Kautilya put for the sake of polity as well as the defense and the foreign policies. And this idea comes with the name of Mandala and Saptanga. These two names or these two terminologies are very unique terminologies used by Kautilya, especially Saptanga. Mandala is a idea which is, I mean, the name has come in several ways in Indian culture. In fact, if I say mandala is one of the very important aspect of entire IKS, you want to discuss art, you want to discuss polity, economy, foreign policies, architecture of India, philosophy of India, mandala is going to be the connecting link. So what is that exact idea? How Kautilya uses it for his organizational thought, foreign policies, for the political thought, and that's going to be a very interesting part. So, and why I'm showing, because as I said, in architecture and sculpture also, in many of the architectural monuments, you will see that there is something like this concentric circles, and there are designs on that. That is nothing but mandala. So India's idea of showing something in a circular design where all the elements are connected to each other is right from Rigvedic time. It is given a name as mandala. And Kautilya makes that a very beautiful and unique idea of Indian culture and uses it to discuss his political, economic, and even especially the organizational thought and the foreign policy part. So we'll come to that. What he's done so far, I will not go into it because I assume that yesterday it was covered. But just to give an overview, the Adhikaranas from the Vinay Adhikaran, which is the first Adhikaran, then Adhyaksha Prachar, which was about the first was about the Vidya Vinay Vichar. That means the how you are going to teach the king and all the other people, and how it is very important to have the internal and external control. Second was about duties of the government superintendents. That is the second Adhikarana. So I'll very briefly go only in the list of that, not go in detail because it has been covered, I was told yesterday. But there is third one, that is Dharmasthiyam, which is about the how to know about the law. So it's about the main ideas about the Shastras or the dealing in the daily Vyavaharas. And fourth is also very unique Prakaran or the Adhikaran, which is called Kantak Shodhana, that is removal of thorns. And he has gone in great detail to make clear that how we can remove the thorns, that means the antisocial elements from society. Then comes the fifth Adhikarana, which is Yoga Vruttam, which is about the conduct of the courtiers. And here the how we are able to make sure that the employees and the ministers are well managed, and then tax collection, and if there is a difficult time, then how we are going to overcome with some extra fund generation. So here comes the economic part also. We'll discuss that tomorrow a little more. But then the sixth prakarana, which I am going to take now, which is, as I told you, mandala is one of the very central portion of entire Kautilya's strategy and idea. So Mandala Yoni, this is the sixth book or sixth adhikarana, where he discusses what we mean by source of sovereign states, what comprises of Prakriti Sampada, and what is Shama and Vyayamikam. These are very interesting, unique terminologies by him. And there first ever he has introduced a terminology called as Saptanga. Now, what is a Saptanga and how he discusses entire organizational model of Indian IKS, or typically which has come from our traditions, and Kautilya makes it something extremely, you can say, perfected model out of that. That is called Saptanga model. So he says for any state, political state, how you are going to design the entire system. So there are going to be 7 elements of that, or he says there are 7 organs or 7 angas of that. What is this anga or the organ is? Swami, Amatya, friend, treasury, country, fort, and danda, which you are giving. So these are going to be your major things which you are going to do. This is your Prakriti. Now here interesting part is, as we all know, entire Indian knowledge systems, whether it is about the philosophy, or it is about education, or it is about polity, economy, defense, you name any part of it, arts, architecture, they all are connected with something which is called as spiritual part of it. And spirituality was made practical in India by applying the principles of yoga. So you can say yoga is the backbone of the entire system. So here also he says yoga radhano vyayama. Now what do you mean by yoga and kshema? These are the two important terminologies Kautilya has introduced in the sixth book of his Arthashastra. He says that when we say welfare, which is another topic which we are going to take by tomorrow, as I start this whole thing today, by tomorrow we'll try to connect all the threads together and bring to the point of how a ideal state, welfare state, was envisaged by Kautilya, and how he made it very prosperous as well as yet very peace loving and a global power. But that there comes his entire thought, which was very perfect in the beginning. He says that there is yoga and there is also kshema. So we have very famous understanding that that vakya which is come from the LIC's slogan yoga kshemam vahamyam. In fact, that is the sentence which is picked up from Bhagavad Gita, where Shri Krishna is telling Arjuna that those who completely are thinking of me and doing it for the divine sake, I will take care of their well-being. They don't have to worry about how their livelihood will be taken care of. Yoga kshemam vahamyam, I will take care of that. So that's the root of the entire thought, which says that if you do your works righteously, if you are good in your actions, if you are not troubling anyone, if you are going by the ideal laws and the do's and don'ts, patya apatya, and nitya nitya, and what to do, what not to do, or if you are on the path of dharma, where I mean dharma means the righteousness, not just going to a particular place of worship or something. It's a living life with the moral and ethical code. If you are doing that, then your daily needs will be taken care of by the divine. That's the idea. That is the, you can say, bottom line of India's even political and economic idea also. And Kautilya has very beautifully picked it up. Before Kautilya, it was there in the Veda and Upanishads. It was there in Mahabharata, where Vyasa has said something similar. It comes in the Bhishma Parva, Vidur Niti it comes. It comes in several other parts. But why Kautilya is important is he made it perfect. He made it very detailed. He made it like something like a science which can be understood and followed by people. So that entire tradition, Kautilya stands like a what we call as the pinnacle of this entire endeavor. So he says here, Yoga Kshema. Let us divide this one element into two. So Karma Rambhanam Yoga Radhano Vyayama. When you start any action, that time it should be done with the yoga. And when the Karma Phala Upabhoganam Shama Radhanam Shama. That means Kshema Radhanam Shama. That means when the Karma Phala comes, when you are going to enjoy the fruits of your action, that time what comes is the Kshema. So yoga and Kshema, well-being of every element in the society. So entire Indian idea of polity, economy, or anything for that matter, external affairs, internal affairs, Kantak Shodhan, that means removal of all the antisocial elements, you name it. The ultimate idea is that we are aiming at a society which will be taking care of well-being of every person from top to bottom. Antyodaya, that means the last person in the society should get enough for his livelihood. And that is the responsibility of all the people in the society. But moreover, it is responsibility of the state, because state is holding the power. They have got both political power as well as economic power with them. They also have the power to wage war or even defend the land. So therefore, it's their responsibility that whatever they are doing, ultimately it is doing for yoga and kshema, for well-being and welfare of all the people. That is the very cardinal part which is taken. And then connected with that, which I am going to, this 6, 7, 8, 3 books are very clearly connected to each other. They all are based on a single model of mandala and the saptanga. So there he says, once you know these are the saptangas, that means Swami is the king in simple words. Amatya is the his main person, chief minister, prime minister type of person. And then there comes the Durga, means the forts and fortifications. Then it comes Posha, means his Rajaposha, that is treasury. Then it comes Danda, means his defense and army and all that part. And Janapada, that means the land and the resources which they are. And Mitra, that means the allies which you are able to create. It's very important. These 7 elements are very important. Now these 7 elements of yours are going to have a sort of a balance of power, or you can say it is going to have clash with other people who are there in the surrounding. So you are not an isolated nation, or you are not going to be isolated kingdom anytime. There are going to be other kingdoms, other nations, other global powers in today's context. So whatever you are doing, these all your saptangas are also going to be compared with the saptangas of the other people. And among the other people who are going to be there are going to be people who are going to be your mitra. That means they are your friends. And here I mean, friend means a political friend or economic friend. Friend, of course, friends can be there by the relationship of our emotions and our we feel good for that. We have been very nice emotionally connect with that. That is also a friend. But here we can't be only having friendship of emotions. There is a friendship on political terms and economic terms also. So there is a common trade agreements are there. There is a common boundary disputes are resolved. There is always give and take of the resources with each other. All this will happen with the mitra. There are going to be other people who are going to be your shatru. That means they are going to be your ari, or shatru means your enemies. And they will try to use their saptangas. That means they will try to use their 7 elements of power to always destroy you or nullify you, or trying to take you down in that entire thing. So that is your Ari, your Shatru. And like that, he has developed this entire thing. So in 7th Adhikarana, or 7th book of Kautilya, he talks of Shadgunyam. Shadgunyam means you have to now make policies: internal policy, external policy, foreign policy, defense policy, economic policy, political policy. Now this policy making will be 6-fold policy making as per the Kautilya. Shadgunya. Shad means 6-fold policy. So what are these 6 policies we can do? That is what he is going to talk now. These are the 6 variables you have got, and you have to use them very judiciously, very cleverly, so that your friends are always benefited, your enemies are always nullified or destroyed, or they are weakened. And that is the way you are going to establish a good kingdom for your own people and other people. It is Yogakshema not only for your own people, it is welfare of not just your people. You have to also make sure the humanity is also, if there is any Shatru Rashtra or any other nation which is not doing good for their people, as a person who stands for the welfare of all, you are not only going to just protect your area, but also make sure that people in that land are also protected from this vicious king or vicious rule which is there. So you have to strategize now. What strategies, what policies I am going to make sure that. So he makes 6 ways of policies that we are going to see. So whether to go for Sandhi or whether to go for the Udasina, what you are going to do? You are going to be aggressive, or you are going to be defensive, or you are going to be neutral, you are going to be this, that. All that depends on. And what you mean by what? I mean, when I say I will go defensive, means what exactly you are going to do. So all these things will come in the Shadgunyam. And 8th Adhikarana, which is, or 8th book, is considered as Vyasanadhikarikam. Means there again he says, what are going, Vyasan here means, in Sanskrit, Vyasan means the calamity. So what type of calamities can come in your land, in your Janapada? What are the vices and calamities, and how you are going to overcome that? And always, why it is put 8th, not before 6th and 7th, because it is not in isolation. 6, 7, 8, 3 books are going in parallel to each other, intertwined with each other. They are connected to each other. This Vyasan or the calamities are not in isolation. There are 7 these elements which we talked about, Saptangas. And those Saptangas are going to be having calamities. And as we say, calamities never come alone. They will always come in a group. So if there is a calamity in 4, at the same time there is some trouble or calamity connected with the minister, chief minister or prime minister, whom you are going to address first. Now here comes Kautilya's entire idea of resource mobilization, resource augmentation and all. So then that is part also come, and then of course there is going to be a Kosha Sangha Varga, Bala Vyasana Varga, and Vitra Vyasana. So there are many in Vyasana or the calamities also. There are many political, economic, and other war and other angles are there. Natural calamities are there. Like that, you will see even the 9 to 15 Adhikaranas also go like that. We'll come back to them, because my purpose is not to have a view of all the Adhikaranas. I wanted to bring you to the 6, 7, 8 Adhikarana and why they are placed there. They are almost at the middle of his entire treatise, but they are very important. They are like a cardinal part. Then 9th is the Abhisyat Karma Sangramikam. That means it is about the war. Sanghavrittam, it is about how to make the corporations and the, have the, make sure that the rebel groups are nullified. Abaliyasam means about the powerful enemy and how you are going to tackle them. A weak king versus the strong king. Durgalabhopaya, Aushani, Shadikam, and Tantra Yukti. So these are all adhikarnas which are there. Now we come back to our central portion which we are going to take, and that is about Mandala, Saptanga, and Shadgunya. That is 6, 7, 8 adhikarana which we are going to discuss. Now these words may sound very Sanskrit. What is Mandala? What is Saptanga? Therefore I gave the title that this is the entire strategic policy making part of Kautilya, an organizational part of how should be organization for political, economic, defense, and external affairs, and all that should be done for the welfare of all the people. So that these are the modern names I have given, but if you take the ancient name, this is the 6, 7, 8 part which is going to be central part. And then when it comes to war, these are the 9, 10, 11, those adhikaranas will start with that. So now we'll see here that the shape of mandala, you have seen this in several such things which are in our temples or architectural monuments. Looks like a fighter jet or exhaust fan of a rocket. It's actually a mandala design done by our sculptors. Beautiful design. So this is a central idea of many of our architecture, art, as well as polity, economy, and many of the ideas. And therefore Kautilya says that power and success of a state or a kingdom depends on three things. There is intellectual strength, which he calls as mantra shakti, which gives you power of good counseling. Through the good counseling, good advisors, you should have mantrana. Mantrana means good set of very capable advisors giving you intellectual strength. King alone, Swami alone cannot do that. He requires a group of people who are equally capable. That's why that Navaratna and that idea came from India. Ashtapradhan Mandal or Navaratna. These ideas are coming because of the mantra shakti, that advisory role which the good people can play, give you intellectual strength. Second is Prabhava Shakti. Prabhava Shakti will come, which will give physical power to you. First was intellectual power. Second is physical power. Physical power will come by two things. One, by having a very strong, prosperous treasury, that is kosha. And second is by a very strong army. That is going to be your Prabhava. So why a state is feared by other people? There is a Prabhava Shakti. There is intellectual Shakti. And third Shakti, very important, is your Utsaha Shakti. So Kautilya says Mantra Shakti, Prabhava Shakti, Utsaha Shakti. In English, translation of that, intellectual strength, the physical power which comes through the prosperity and strong army, and third is Utsaha Shakti, means energetic action, valor, and the valor should be based on moral grounds, that we are going to fight because we have got moral part on our side. Truth is on our side. We are doing it for some good cause. So that gives you energy to fight right from your soul. So these three actually give you powers. Kautilya says intellectual, physical, psychological, all the powers come through that, and that gives you success. That's how he starts the entire discussion. So what should be the role of a good Swami and his mantris and all those amatyas? What they are going to do? There are just four things he says, very important. One is to create resources and acquire resources. So resources can be land, forest, your deserts, your rivers and mountains, your mines, and he makes tremendous detailing of that, how the resources should be acquired, how the resources should be created. Even if a good king has got a barren land, he can create something from that because he knows how to create resources. And a bad king can make a very good resource also, he will just make horrific output of that. So you should know how to deal with the resources which you have got. So first, create them or acquire them. Second, preserve them or expand them and augment them. Third is protect them or defend them. These are the three ideas which will make your state or your nation great nation. Acquire resources or create them internally if you cannot get from outside. Preserve whatever you have got. Expand them. Don't allow them to get destroyed internally or externally. Protect them, defend them. And that is, for all that, a very strong economic strength is the backbone of any state. In one of his beautiful shloka, Kautilya says, a Raja or a king who has got weak kosha, means weak treasury, is like a sin for the people of that land. Because his economic poverty is going to ruin all the welfare of the people. They cannot get what they want. So therefore, he has to create that economic prosperity for all the people, not for himself. So there is a comparison also. If a Raja or a Mantris and all these people, if they are completely immersed in their own luxuries and they are spending enormous amount of money on them, what will happen to the state? What is going to be the effect of that on Janapada? Vis-a-vis, If king is very pious, but the people are indulging in all such type of exuberant spendings, what will happen? So he's very careful about creating the wealth and also using it for the right cause. And therefore, right from Janapada Nirman, he should be careful that land, people, infrastructure, money, in today's management language, we say these are all resources which make a good industry or good factory or even good state also, nation also. So therefore, Kautilya now lists now his foreign policy in different principles. How you are going to defend against the other powers outside, and how you are going to defend against the people who are your enemies from inside also. Both he has put very beautifully. So he says a king should enhance resources and power of his kingdom to embark upon a campaign of conquest. Enemies have to be nullified or eliminated. Then he has to constantly cultivate allies, create more and more friends, political, economic friends. That is a strategy you should have. Constantly try to see who are going to be your political or economic friends. And then adoption of prudent course of action in every point of action. Peace should be always preferred to the war. We are not going to impose war on somebody, but if somebody imposes war on us, we are going to fight tooth and nail and again give it back in the same coin. And king must behave as a just person in both victory and defeat. Jitendriya. Kautilya's king is, or Swami is always a Jitendriya king. Therefore, that is how he has defined this entire thing. He is not, in his victory or in his defeat, he is in equilibrium. He doesn't become too lost in the victory, he doesn't get lost in the defeat also. So these are the Saptanga model what I was talking. In any state, there is going to be Amatya, who is the first person execution, he is in charge of all the executive power. Then there is Janapada, that is your state or your land and all the resources in that. Durga, which in that time it used to be fort and fortification. And there are many types of Durgas, which are Kautilya is talking of forts. It's a great science actually. There is going to be forts on the plain land, on the mountains. There are going to be forts in the rivers, forts which are there in the sea, forts which are there in the deserts and in the forests. So these are all types of forts you should have for the right protection of your land. Kosha, as we said, is treasury. Danda is all about the army and also paramilitary forces or the police and the other machinery you require. And Danda Niti means law enforcement. So you also require judiciary. So here comes all the judicial thought, law and law enforcement part, and also comes the Sainya or the part of his army. And then Mitra. As I said, you should have people who are going to help you in the time of the difficulty. So cultivate that way. Who are going to be your friends? Constantly look for common interest. And in the political and economic arena where we are talking, even though Kautilya is deeply spiritual, entire Indian systems are very spiritual, but Kautilya's specialty is very pragmatic. He knows my field is the field where politics, economics, and foreign policies and wars are going to happen. So my mitras are also going to be that type only. There is no, as the famous saying says, in politics there is no permanent enemy and no permanent friend also. In spite of that, you can build a great empire and great state if you know how to make friends for a long time, because there are some commonalities in them. There are common interests, there are common ideas, there are common philosophies, there are also common economic routes which they are using for trade. There are common elements of give and take in trade and other things. There can be also defense requirements of each other. A lot of things are there. Geographies are connected to each other. So Mitra has to be made and Ari has to be somehow minimized. That's the strategy of this Saptanga. And therefore, now let us try to understand how this whole thing becomes complex in the entire thing. I mean, it has to be like that. So king, his friend and his friend's friend. So these are three people you should know. There is a king in the sense I'm saying here Swami. He uses the word Swami because Swami gives you a guardian type of role instead of being just a powerful person. He's not just a politically important person. He's also guardian of all the people. Therefore, he uses the word Swami. And his friend, or his friend in the sense now the state's friend, and that friend's friend. This is the three layers on which you are going to put this entire thought of India's organizational thought about the Indian polity, you can say, firmly rooted in India's spiritual roots. So your friend and your friend's friend. This becomes your three circles of your Mitra circle. And each one is going to have five people connected. Each one will have Amatya, Durga, Kosha, Janapada and Danda. Out of 7 Saptanga, 5 are taken out because rest 2 are Swami and Mitra only. So you are not going to repeat them. Now you will find that means in this entire, and so beautifully mathematical, Indian idea of politics and economics, everything is deeply rational, intellectual, and even mathematical. So he says 3 into 5. Now that means now you are going to have 15 possibilities of entire work, 15 things you can do. And now you start multiplying that. This is not just going to be 15. We'll soon come to know there are going to be 72 elements in this entire design. And then we'll see the graphics of that also. So Kautilya says that this Swami or the king, what he is talking, he says he is a Vijikishu. He uses the word Vijikishu. Vijikishu means the one who is very ambitious, always wants to win, never say die, I'm not going to give up, come what may, because ultimately I'm doing this for the divine cause. I'm doing it for the righteousness. I'm doing it for the welfare of people. I can't put down my strategies, my weapons, or even my efforts. So that is called Vijikishu. Always going to win because he has got all this intellectual power, physical power, and then he has also got Utsaha Shakti, Prabhava Shakti, Utsaha Shakti, and his Mantrana Shakti. All are great, and his team is also like that. So now you will see this is the center of Kendra Bindu, center of this mandala, and then there are 4 basic circles which will come. The first circle is going to be the Vijikishu, of course, in the center. Then second is his friend, and third circle is his friend's friend, Mitra, Mitra, and the Swami. And each one will have the 5 elements, right? So each one will have your Amatya, your Janapada, your Durga, your Kosha, your Danda. Your Mitra Rashtra's or Mitra Pradesha's Amatya, their Janapada, their Durga, their Kosha, their Danda. These are your assets. In today's language, we are trying to now understand Balabala, strength and weaknesses of you versus the others. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? What are your opportunities and threats? What are going to be their opportunities and threats? That means in modern language, this is nothing but SWOT analysis we are doing. Strength, weakness, opportunities, threats. Balabala. He uses the term Balabala. So your Balabala can be these 5 elements. Your Amatya, your Prime Minister is great. Your Janapada is resourceful. Your Durgas are very strong to defend or even administer the thing. Your Kosha or treasury is strong. Your Danda or your defense is very strong. Your people in defense or Sainya is very good. Your paramilitary forces are good. These are your strengths. Some of them can be your weaknesses also. Similarly, your Mitra will also have some strengths and some weaknesses. So these strengths and weaknesses of you, your friends, or your friends' friends, because your friends' friends are also your friends. Your friends' enemies are your enemies. Your enemies' enemies are your friends, and your enemies' friends are your enemies. So these are 4 combinations he thinks of, right? Your enemy's enemy is going to be your friend because he is enemy for him. You try to make him Mitra. Your enemy's friend is going to be your enemy because he is too close to him. You can't rely on that person, that state. So that's how he makes the entire combinations. And therefore, your strength and weaknesses, their strength and weaknesses, and your opportunities, their opportunities, your threats, their threats, you need to make that entire thing very mathematically perfect in this Saptangas. You remember, it is your 7 elements with your Mitra's 7 elements and your Mitra's 7 elements versus your Ari, means your enemies Sapta 7 elements plus your enemies friends Sapta elements, and with you also is going to be your enemies friends, all these things, or enemies 7 things. So that gives you entire possibility, and that's why I say Kautilya's thought is even today very much used by. We had some training programs for defense people. We have been doing it for many universities. We have done that for even the people in the commerce and the trade, and we do it for people who are taking the education in politics. And everybody says this is something which we can learn. Why? Because it encompasses all these possibilities and yet remains there as a timeless wisdom which can be used by all. It's timeless because what he has given, beyond that no further combination can come. He has used all the permutation combination, just like a mathematical equation. He says all these things will be the major things which will happen anywhere you go in the world. Even today in 2024, you see the global scenario and try to apply this, you are going to apply it. Who is Vijikishu? Who is the Mitra? Who is going to be Mitra Ari? Who is going to be Ari? Who is going to be Ari Mitra? What are your 7? Now, yes, of course, some changes will come. Now, Durga will not be just the physical force. There are going to be some other things which are used for defense. Like that, some detailing will be changed because technologies have gone ahead. But fundamental principle will remain as that only. So that is the beauty of Kautilya's work. So he says this circle now will give you 18 elements. 3 primary, 3 kings, King Mitra and Mitra, plus 5 elements. So that makes 15. 15 plus 3 becomes your 18. And now this 18 is going to become 72 because you apply that to 4 different layers of it. So there is going to be also 3 other circles of that. There is Ari, means enemy. and Madhyama, which is the indifferent king. There are always going to be some people who will remain indifferent. They will not participate in this entire thing because they are just watching what is happening. They may turn this side, they may turn that side. So there are Madhyama, indifferent, and there are also Udasina, neutral. Now these two are very carefully to be found out who is Madhyama, who is Udasina, who is actually indifferent king and who is neutral king. Because possibility is that this never remain permanent. Some of them will shift to Ari, some of them may shift to Mitra also. So let us see what happens to them. Therefore he says your 15 plus 3 18 plus your Aris, that is your enemies 18 plus your Madhyamas 18 and your Udasinas 18. 18 into 4 becomes 72. That means a mandala theory is going to give you 4 primary circles of states, 12 primary kings, 60 elements of sovereignty, 72 elements of the states, and that's how this entire structure is built by Kautilya. That is the reason I was telling you polity, economy, foreign policies, defense, all these ideas now get meaningful and can be detailed once you understand this basic, once you means all of us understand this basic structure what he is trying to make. And this again, as I said, some defense people are also working. They have trying to use this. There are some polity and economy people using. Now let us, what we discussed in last few slides, let us try to put that into a diagram, because when we see diagram, things become more clear. I will try to magnify this little bit. You can see here it is Vijigishu, or the never say die type of king and his state in the middle. There is Ari, means his Shatru, because generally borders will always be shared with your enemies, not with your friends, political and economic friends, because there is always a dispute with them. So Ari is the next circle, Mitra is next to that, your Ari Mitra is next to that, Mitra Mitra is next to that, Ari Mitra Mitra is next to that. So these are going to be your circles which mandala will form. And then you are also going to have some other people. There is Madhyama and there is Udasina. So on one side there is Udasina, on one side there is Madhyama. That means there is a indifferent king and there is a neutral king. And his Janapada, that means his Saptangas will come here, his Saptangas will come here, your Saptangas here, your enemy's Saptangas, your Mitra's Saptangas, your Ari Mitra. Such a wonderful, mathematically perfect model he has created. So everything, even today you try to apply, it's going to somewhere get connected with that. That's the beauty of it. Then he goes further than that. He says, now let us try to make it more complete. We know all the Saptangas, we know the strategic planning done, we know the mandalas part. Now let us try to even further go than that. Now what is further than that? There is Parashani Graha, there is Akranda, there is Parashani Graha Sara, and there is Akranda Sara. So these are further complexities. Let us not go in everything at a time, because otherwise it may become little too much of modeling at one time. But let us understand, Kautilya is not living only in this. He says there are going to be enemies from behind. There is going to be Mitras who are coming from behind. There are going to be enemies of enemies who are actually working with you from behind or working against you. There are going to be enemies of your friends who are also from behind. So as these are in the front, openly telling that I'm your enemy, I'm your friend, I'm your friend's enemy, I'm your enemy's friend, I'm your friend's friend. All this is frontal, direct. But remember, there are going to be some things which are not that direct also, and that is the things which are going to happen from behind. So some scholars define this must be behind, means geographically it must be behind. Like when you are taking attacks from one side, there is going to be some attack happening from other side. That can be Parshva, that can be something coming from here. That is one way interpretation is done. But some people say it's not just geography, it is also their mentality, that they are not openly telling you whether they are friends or enemies. You can't make out easily, but it's a from rear, from behind, from Parshva. That means they are not clearly telling, but they are that. And as you go ahead, as we said, the Saptanga is connected with this. Swami, that is king, Amatyam is the main minister, Janapada, that is territory and population. Remember, Janapada is not just land and resources, it is also people. Therefore, people are your power, your territory is your power, your agriculture, your mining, your entire resources is your power, your water is your power. That's how he looks at it. And then your force, which are going to be making that, because all the cities used to be fortified cities. They are the cities which are protected by the forts. All our ancient cities you see, they are going to be like that only. Even from Vedic time, these are the Pura, means they used to be the fortified cities till the time of our medieval history and the even modern history also. And Kosha is the treasury, Danda is the army, as we said, external army as well as internal also, all the forces which are used for implementation of the law and order, and Vikram is the allies. And as you see now, this entire thing is connected thanks to a defense personnel's their interpretation. They have made it still beautiful. They say because they are from army, they said for us heart is army, our mouth is treasury, our head is king, our eyes are ministers, our ears are allies, our arms are forts, and our feet are population and land. So they try to now, it has not come in Kautilya's Arthashastra, but as you keep looking at it and thinking of it, you'll get more and more ideas and more interpretation of that. So they try to then superimpose this into a human model, that which organs, because that has been the strategy of India also, always in our all scriptures you'll find, we try to connect it with human beings and human model and try to see, oh, these are his ears, these are his head. So head is going to be that Swami. The eyes are going to be, because ministers are watching all the things and recording and giving that entire thing, looking at entire, happenings and taking advices and giving advice, all that. So ears are the allies, like that they have tried to now analogically form that. So very beautiful idea. And the 6 diplomatic policies which we should have. I may be running out of time, but I'll just finish in next 5 minutes, and then perhaps we can have some question answers if they are there. But what are the 6 policies one can have as a diplomatic policy? So this Sandhi means peaceful agreement with others, negotiate, agree, because when you will do peace with someone, when you know that the other person is either equally powerful as you or more powerful, then Kautilya has made clear understanding when you should go for what. So in short, there are going to be 6 policies: Sandhi, Vigraha, Asana, and then Samsarya, and then the Dvaidi Bhava and Yana. So in English, just try to make it simpler. Sandhi means peace, or having the peaceful relationships. Vigraha means waging a war. Asana means just keeping neutral, neither war nor peace. And Samsarya means alliance with them, political or economic alliance. Double dealing means Dvaidi Bhava. You are trying to have Sandhi on one side, but also having Vigraha on the other side. And then prepare for war. That means you are buying time so that you can go for Yana. Yana means preparing for war. So you are going to have that expedition. You are going to have that in near future. But right now you are not going for this. Right now no Vigraha. Let us get some time for Yana. Right now there is no possibility of having Vigraha or Sandhi both. But we can have both as a Dvaidi Bhava. So these are all things which he has strategized, that when you should have what. With your Ari Mitra, with your Ari, with your Mitra, with your Mitra Ari, with your Mitra. So these, let me just recapitulate here, that these are the models of our entire Mandala theory, Saptanga theory. These 3 Adhikaranas, so beautifully they are done. So Mandala Yoni, and then the Shadgunyam and Vyasnadhikarikam. These 3 actually are going to give you entire possibility of mathematically and technically also sound modeling of what polity, economy, foreign policies, defense, strategies can be led by a good state or a prosperous state, Vijayishu type of people who never are going to give up in the cause of the righteousness, in the cause of the goodness for the well-being of the people. And then we also started taking that. We said mandala is basically idea not just new by Kautilya. It has been there. Rigveda also has got mandalas. Mandala is basically a circle. Our architecture has got the ideas, and anywhere you find this idea coming, somewhere it is always our Rangoli. We do Alpana in, I was in Tamil Nadu for quite some time, so I got some connection with them. I was in Ramanatpur district working for Rameshwaram project. I was in Kanyakumari for almost 1 year. So I have seen that beautiful Rangolis or Alpanas they do, and all that temples and other things. If you see what is there, this is a mandala. There is some way they try to understand the entire thing. And Kautilya knew this very well. Therefore, he used that same concept, which is central concept of Indian IKS or Indian philosophy, and made it into a complete model of Saptanga, Mandala, Shadgunya, and connected that with the entire this philosophy of our polity, economy, and statecraft and welfare state and its foreign policies, defense, everything you name it. He is going to put that into this. So 7 parts of it, as we know, these are the parts. Now your 7 parts of your friend, 7 parts of your friend's friend, these are going to become your primary strength. So your strength, your weaknesses, your opportunities, your threat. You are going to work on that. Then their strength, your enemy's strengths and weaknesses, their opportunities and threats. You are going to compare that. So bala. So when to go for Sandhi, when to go for Vigraha, when to go for Udasina, that will be clear when you understand these strengths and weaknesses. You can't wage a war and just sacrifice all your Janapada and forts and people. They are at hardships, because you have taken a wrong decision. You are not in a position to wage a war right now. You should have gone for Sandhi. There's nothing wrong in saying that we are just surrendering to you. In Kautilya's language, he is not of that type. Some other kings of India or other places also, they are too much of we are our valor or Virashri. We will not give up. Let us sacrifice ourselves. Better to die here. No, that is not prudent. You understand that it's not right here to wage a war. Go back. So you can even say we are not ready for that. You can say that we are not good for that. We are weaker than you. Say whatever is possible. So that is also a strategy. Because your bala when you check, you found that we are not going to get victory in this particular point. But use it for Yana. That means you buy that time for your further strategizing, waging a war in future. And like that, he now makes the entire analysis of the thing, makes it in the mandala, which we, as we said, is a Vijigishu, Ari Mitra, Ari Mitra, Mitra Mitra, Ari Mitra Mitra. Then there is a Udasina and Madhyama, indifferent and neutral people who are neutral states, neutral nations in today's language, neutral kingdoms in ancient times. And then there is also going to be people on the rear. Don't forget them. They will be always very decisive because they are not in the picture right now, but they will come somewhere when their right time comes for them. Maybe they are doing the Yana. When you are actually doing war, they are preparing for the next. So you have to be careful about all these people. And your 7 things, their 7 things, your friend's 7 things, all this come together, and that makes you possible to get into the policy mode. So these are all 6 policies which are possible we took. So up to this point we have come. The next part will come into tomorrow's tomorrow's session, and that will help us to, and then we'll link it also with the economic and polity and the welfare ideas which Kautilya has given so beautifully, and that I think will make the entire thing complete. So I'll just stop here for today, because if there are some questions or if any person wants to add something or they want to say something, they can please go ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, the participant can raise your doubts. Sir, I had a doubt.
Yes.
We are saying Vigraha means it is a statue. No, sir. You are saying it is a war. There is 2 or 3 meanings are for the same word.
Pardon me?
As you said, Vigraha means war.
Yes.
Generally, Vigraha means it indicates a statue. No, sir.
No, it is a word used in different connotations. Vigraha we use there because it has been taken out from the main thing. From the main thing, something comes out and it becomes a statue or a shilpa, right? That's why we call
Yes,
it as a Vigraha. Now here we are trying to take out something from the whole. In that sense, we are going to cut away from that. That's why it is called Vigraha. So in Sanskrit, what happens now, many times words are looking similar, but you have to understand in what context they are used, then the meaning changes. Here the context is that of one state versus the other state. Your state tries to separate itself, as if from a stone the statue gets separated. You are trying to separate yourself from them. You don't want to identify with them. You don't want to get along with them, right? That is called war. What do you mean by war? It's not always with weapons. You say we are not with you, we are not going to support you, and we are against you. That is called getting away from them, right? In that sense, when that word is used here, it was resembling war. What happens when we translate in English? It becomes a very general word, war. But in Sanskrit, it is a very combined meaning, that you don't want to associate with them. You want to cut away with them. That is the war position you are taken, right? Peace position means what? You want to associate with them. In that sense, it is a Vigraha, means you are trying to, when that word was used in Shilpa Shastra, that time there is a huge stone. From that stone, you are taking out something and then something else remains there. What is taken out remains west. What remains is the statue. You got my point? So the word came there because there is a Vigraha done there. But here the Vigraha means from the whole, I am trying to take something out for the well, because I think it's going to be like a statue is a meaningful output from the entire stone. I feel my dissociation from this group is going to make something good for the whole. That's why I'm taking it out. So very beautiful, subtle, differentiation they make in that. I'm not separating myself because I want to create some nuisance value. I'm separating because I want to create some creative and prosperous or goodwill or well-being for people. That's why I'm separate. That's why Vigraha, war for the sake of righteousness. So India's one of the main idea of Indian philosophy or Indian IKS is, I mean Indian concepts is that if possible, like Kautilya also says, wherever possible, first strategy is going to be peace. War is the last strategy. But if war is done, why war is done? Because I wanted to separate it for the sake of good. For the sake of good, I am taking it out. The other things are going to be restful. I don't want to get into that. In that sense, it matches there.
Sir, I
hope
had
have
another doubt.
Yeah.
Sir, I had another doubt. As you said, Durga for fort. Whether the goddess Durga, this is the etiology from the word Durga, that means the fort.
No. There is a small difference here. Durga. Here, when English you write, it will become Durga only. But actually, in original word, there is Durga. Durga means fort. Durga means the goddess. So these two words are different. Durga is for
Thank
the
you,
fort.
sir.
Yeah.
Any other doubts? Sir, there is a question comment section. Sir, can you say to the generation of AI few key lights from Arthashastra?
Yeah, I mean, many times we think AI people or AI generation, which today we see, it's something away from ancient ideas or Arthashastra. Since I happen to learn AI also, I could connect these things together. You will find that today's, as you say, AI generation is there. Fine. Now their externalities have changed. Okay, external manifestations have changed. If earlier we used to have something written in Burja Patra or in the handwritten thing, now they will write on computers. Now they will have wars which are done with the robots and which are done with missiles and with huge possibilities of technology. They will do that. That means external manifestation or external ideas have changed, undergone change. They are going to change with the time because of science and technology. What remains constant from scriptures like Arthashastra is the internal part of it. Like, for example, strategy. Today we talked of strategy, we talked of Saptangas, we talked of Mandala. These are timeless things because they are not connected with your external manifestation of it. AI has given you the prowess on the external part, not on the internal, remember. And that is what this generation should know, first of all, that the generation of AI, what we rightly call, they should first of all know that there is a internal world which is far more powerful than the external world, and the internal world actually ultimately decides the external world. So if we have command on that, and that command will come only with the perpetual ideas and perpetual things like what our ancients have done it. Ancients from all over world, I will say. It is of course Indian ancients, but ancient all over world. We used to say, let the noble thoughts come to us from all the parts of world. We have no problem. But that remains your internal software. Your hardware can go on changing, but software is going to be what we are producing here. The content in today's language, what is going to be content of it? The content is here. Okay, with the AI, what I will do, I will make this mandala on computer. I'll make it more with the programming. I will do that. But ultimately, the major idea of its thought will remain there only. That is what we are trying to do. I hope I could answer that, Doctor.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Any other doubts?
Question is there, but this is very important what you raised, because many times when we also talk with the administrators and we had some programs, as I said, for the university people. There was also a lot of invitations from the defense studies, and there are, by the way, there are a lot of papers now available on defense studies and Arthashastra, on economic studies and Arthashastra. There are separate research papers are available. You can refer to them if you need. I can give some links also in coming time. So seriously, people are looking at it. Why they're looking? Because they find something fundamentally sound. For example, I'll tell you now. Today we talk in modern AI world. We talk of mathematical modeling, right? It's a very important terminology used. There is a mathematical modeling of it. There is an algorithm of something. On the algorithm, we make the program and we make the entire gadget to work. Now look at this particular model which Kautilya wants to say here. Kautilya says this is going to be variables. 72 variables are there. How he found that 72 value that we were discussing just now? Very mathematical. That is, you are 15, and then you add the three basic elements becomes 18. This 18 multiplied by 4 becomes 72. Now, any problem of polity, foreign affairs, and the economy, you can put in that model. And tomorrow when we come, perhaps we can take one small example of that. Just a dummy example, we can see that these variables can actually work on particular thing. Whether they can work or not, yes, they can work. If they can work, that means our work is still valid. We can still refer to him, and you can see what elements he is bringing. So that is the point we are trying to deliver. The content or the internal part is still perennial and strong. External, its expressions are going to change, and we don't have any problem with external expressions because they have to change. That's why time is going ahead. So nothing to take away from the developments of science, technology, or AI. But what we try to say, okay, AI has come, AI is bringing new gadgets and new things and new robots and everything. What they are going to do, that is the internal part. What you are going to feed them. Only what you feed them, they are going to do that. So therefore, that feeding part comes from these things. I think that's how we can look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Yeah, any other doubts? Participants? Do you have any doubts? Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for a wonderful session. Now I would like to welcome Dr. Selvi, HOD, Costume Design and Fashion, to deliver the vote of thanks. Will you please, ma'am?
Okay, sir, it's audible.
Ah, it is audible, ma'am.
It's audible, huh?
Ma'am, it is audible.
Okay,
You
sir.
can.
Okay. Okay, sir. Good evening to everyone. On behalf of Nanda Arts and Science College, I'd like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to everyone involved in making this FTB program as a resound success. First, I'd like to thank our Honorable Resource Person, Dr. Narendra Joshi, entitled topic on the Kautilya Arthashastra Insight in Policy, Economic Defense and Welfare State. Thank you so much, sir, your valuable information with us. Next, I'd like to thank our management members, Principal Sir, Dr. S. Manoharan, Nanda Arts and Science College, our Administrative Officer, Dr. V.C. Srinivasan Sir, Nanda Arts and Science College, and IQAC coordinators, Dr. Abdul Sir and Ilangovan Sir, for their tireless effort in coordinating this FDP program. Your dedication and commitment to FDP is truly commendable, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Next, I'd like to thank our participants, HODs and staff members. I appreciate your active enhancement and enthusiasm. Your presence has made this program a valuable experience for all. Thank you once again, and we look forward to future collaboration. Thank you all.